Knowledge spread like wildfire, changing everything. Johannes Gutenberg changed the world. Before his invention, books were a luxury for the ultra-rich and the church. Scribes copied every single word by hand. Imagine centuries of slow, painstaking work, just to make one book. A single manuscript took an expert scribe a year to finish. This meant only very few people could ever own books. Information was tightly controlled. Most Europeans were completely illiterate, unable to read or write. Access to ideas was extremely limited. This all began to shift dramatically in the mid-15th century thanks to one man's relentless vision. He was born in Mainz, Germany, around the year 1400. His given name was Johannes Gensfleisch Zerladen zum Gutenberg, a man who would leave such a massive mark. His family was wealthy. His father worked as a merchant. Young Johannes had a background in metalworking and goldsmithing. These skills proved absolutely crucial for his future invention. He understood how to cast and mold metals with great precision. This was not a simple task. He moved to Strasbourg in the 1430s, working on various ventures, including gem polishing and metal mirrors. But his true passion was a secret printing project. He was working on a revolutionary printing system. The core idea was movable type, not carving entire pages into wood blocks. That was an older Chinese method. But individual metal letters that could be arranged and rearranged for each new page. This was the genius idea. He needed to create an alloy that was soft enough to cast easily, but hard enough to withstand thousands of impressions. He experimented for years. Lead tin and antimony were key components of his special type metal. This mixture was perfect. It held its shape under immense pressure. Then he needed a way to produce these letters in vast quantities. He developed the hand mold, a tool that allowed him to cast individual letters quickly and consistently. This was a critical step. Each letter had to be exactly the same height, otherwise printing would be uneven. This precision was unheard of at the time. Imagine trying to produce thousands upon thousands of tiny metal pieces, each flawless and identical. It was an engineering marvel. The hand mold itself was a complex tool allowing molten metal to be poured in and cooled quickly. The process started slow but became more efficient with practice. This allowed for the rapid assembly of type into pages. A skilled typesetter could arrange a page of text in a matter of minutes or hours depending on the length. Before this, preparing a page for printing meant carving a whole new woodblock, which could take days. The sheer efficiency was staggering, and the ink, traditional water-based ink used by scribes, would not work. It would bleed and smudge on the paper with his new press. Gutenberg developed an oil-based ink. This ink was thicker and adhered perfectly to the metal type. It also dried faster and produced a sharper, clearer image. Another massive breakthrough. Then came the press itself. He adapted a wine press design. This was a wooden screw press that applied even downward pressure onto the type. The paper was placed over the inked type, and the platen pressed down, boom, a printed page. This mechanical process was far faster than any human hand could manage. By the 1450s, his dream was taking shape in Mainz. He entered into a partnership with Johann Fust, a wealthy businessman and lawyer. Fust provided a substantial loan of 800 guilders in 1450. This was a huge sum of money. Later, another loan of 800 guilders followed. Fust was an investor, not a craftsman. Peter Schoeffer joined them. Schoeffer was an educated scribe and calligrapher. He was also Fust's son-in-law. Schoeffer became an invaluable apprentice. He had a deep understanding of book production. His skills helped refine the type design and printing process. This team was formidable. They were pushing boundaries of technology. Their first major project was the Gutenberg Bible, also known as the 42-line Bible, because most pages had 42 lines of text. Work began around 1450, printing finished around 1455. They printed approximately 180 copies, about 135 copies were on paper, around 45 were on vellum, a much more expensive animal skin. Printing these Bibles was a monumental undertaking. It required enormous amounts of paper or vellum and immense labor. Each page was carefully set with individual type, inked and pressed. Then the pages had to be collated and bound. The skill involved was incredible. However, the partnership with Fust eventually dissolved. Fust sued Gutenberg for repayment of the loans plus interest. The legal dispute took place in 1455, just as the Bibles were being finished. Gutenberg lost the lawsuit. He was forced to give Fust his workshop and many of the printing materials. Peter Schoeffer took over the successful printing business with Fust. Gutenberg effectively lost control of his own invention, but his ideas could not be stopped. Many of his workers knew the process. They spread out across Europe, establishing their own printing presses. Knowledge was about to explode. The impact of the printing press was immediate and profound. Within decades, printing presses were operating in hundreds of cities across Europe. By the year 1500, there were roughly 250 presses. They had produced an estimated 20 million books. By 1600, this number had soared to between 150 million and 200 million books. This was an unprecedented information explosion. Literacy rates slowly but steadily climbed. More people could read the Bible. This contributed significantly to the Protestant Reformation, allowing Martin Luther's 95 Theses to be widely disseminated. Scientific ideas could be shared and verified more easily. Doctors could access anatomical drawings and medical texts. Astronomers could disseminate their observations across vast distances. Explorers like Christopher Columbus had their voyages documented and published, allowing others to learn from their discoveries. New maps were printed and distributed. Laws could be standardized and distributed to every corner of a kingdom, ensuring greater fairness. The Renaissance flourished with the wider availability of classical texts, fostering a rebirth of art and philosophy. Even government administration became more efficient with printed forms and records. The world truly shrunk in terms of information travel. It was a catalyst for revolutions in thought, in science, and in religion. Gutenberg died in Mainz in 1468. He did not become rich or famous for his invention during his lifetime. In fact, he died in relative poverty, but his legacy is immense. He truly democratized knowledge. He laid the groundwork for the modern information age. His process remained largely unchanged for over 350 years until industrial advancements. Every book you read, every newspaper, every printed word owes a debt to his groundbreaking work. His movable type system allowed for the mass production of texts, making books affordable and accessible. It fostered critical thinking and individual interpretation. It broke the monopoly on information held by the elite. It truly transformed society, a single invention changing the course of human history forever.